What's going on? G Money Richard, and I'm back with another video. I know it's been a while, but I've been cooking up a couple ideas, and I've kind of finally come to here. So, 2025, let's fucking go. In today's video, I'm basically going to be describing why it simply feels like everybody in this world is struggling to some sort of degree. And I want you to stay to the end because I have one crucial point at the very end. It's a crucial reason, and basically the main reason why everybody is struggling and why it seems like that is. But I mean, everybody is struggling at the end of the day. So that's just kind of how it is. So let's just get straight into it. So first things first, why it seems like everybody in this whole world is struggling. The first reason is addictions. Addictions. The main reasons why is everybody's addicted to something. Right? You're either addicted to pornography, you're either addicted to sex, you're either addicted to marijuana, vaping, cigarettes, movies, Netflix, TikTok reels, Instagram, Netflix, all of it. All of it, YouTube reels, Instagram shorts, all of it, bro. Like you're addicted to all of it. And addiction is essentially what they do, man. Essentially what they do is you're gonna start off with having zero self-control. Zero self-control. What comes with zero self-control is, bro, you're not gonna be able to control yourself in any kind of arena in life. You know, whether that be you're angry, whether that be, you know, for example, you're getting into an argument with somebody, and you know, usually you can combat an argument. Usually you can be somebody who's calm and composed, but you're not going to be able to control your anger. You're not going to be able to control your lust. You're not going to be able to control your desires for anything, and you're not going to be able to control your escapes either. You know, those abilities and those times that you feel like you want to run away as a human being from something vulnerable, from something close, from something conflicting, you're not going to have any self-control. And having no self-control in life is just, one, is going to lead to a miserable life, bro. Your life is going to be straight up miserable. And on top of that, no self-control and all of your addictions are going to just literally, it's going to fuck up your dopamine. I've been seeing a decent amount of reels, and yes, I scroll on Instagram reels sometimes as well. I've seen a decent amount of reels on dopamine and what having fucked up dopamine systems really look like. And it's more than just, you know, you're constantly scrolling and you're having all these compulsive behaviors. It's more or less you as an individual can't focus. You're constantly, you know, looking for the next hit. You're constantly having mood swings. Your behavior isn't right. You're waking up in the morning tired. You're struggling to go to sleep unless you have other, you know, sensory things playing in the background. You can only fall asleep on your phone. You can only fall asleep to things playing in the background, music, etc., whatever it may be. Those things, and yes, it may be soothing, so to speak, and you can kind of use that as an opt-out, but those things are really indicators that your dopamine levels are fucked up. The next thing is you have no real life appreciation at all. And what I mean by that is, bro, you don't appreciate the small things in life and the little things that we all have here, the things that we were born with, the things that our parents used to use as kids, the things that got us here as cavemen and on an evolutionary thing. I'm talking about trees, I'm talking about nature, I'm talking about water, I'm talking about earth itself. And having no appreciation for those things, bro, it's just going to cause you to ignore the present. And when you're ignoring the present, that's when you're going to be that individual who's going to look back in his life and have nothing to show for it. That's when you're going to be the individual who's like, yeah, time flies by, and a book of empty blank pages with nothing to show for it. And you just don't want to be that individual. And addictions is the number one thing that is going to cause you to be that motherfucker, right? It's going to cause you to be that motherfucker. And I mean, addictions can come in all forms and sorts, man. I have my own addictions as well. Like I said, I used to be addicted to pornography. I'll be transparent with you guys. I've recently started vaping a couple times, and I'm like, okay, maybe I shouldn't do it this often. But at the same time, I have complete control over it. So, you know, I only vape when I see a vape, and I'll be honest with you guys, and that's something that's fucked up. But on top of that, another addiction that I struggle with is the addiction of constantly chasing money, constantly being in pursuit of becoming the best version of myself. And that's an addiction that I have a problem with now. And the reason I know it's an addiction is because, one, I can't stop. And I mean, yes, it may be the best addiction out there, but at the same time, I isolate myself from family. I ignore phone calls. I don't reach out to people. I beat myself. Every time I'm stressed, I go back to it. So it is an addiction in some sense, and you have to have a healthy relationship and a healthy balance with it. And that's something that I'm working on as an individual too. And you could adapt that same mindset of realizing that, look, you don't always have to be in the pursuit of chasing money, in the pursuit of becoming the best version of yourself, because in itself that can become an addiction. I didn't do any studies or research on the reasons why. Honestly, it could stem from a large sense of insignificance and childhood trauma that you always feel like you have to live up to certain standards. Therefore, you don't feel like a productive human being unless you're doing something. And that's probably what I just figured out right now. That's probably the same reason, bro. But that's that. And obviously, I said ignoring the present, that comes to escapism. And obviously, if I'm out there and you're out there, you're chasing money, you're constantly trying to push to that next level. That is a form of escapism and ignoring the present, because you're not focused on where you are at right now. Right now, bro, I used to dream for this. Being able to sit on my computer, make thousands of dollars a month, pay my bills, and be quote unquote stress free. Sometimes it gets stressful because I don't have payments come in on time. Bills come in randomly, and that's when I don't have enough money in my bank account to pay certain bills. Sometimes, like, okay, yeah, of course, those are regular day human stressors, but that's what I mean, right? That's what I mean. And then to add on to that, the next thing is you're going to become soulless, bro. If you have all these addictions, I'm sure you've talked to a whole bunch of rich people who chase crazy amounts of success, or people who are stuck in these, low level habits of, smoking, addictions, all that kind of things. They are setting themselves up to have a soulless life and emptiness. Is that what you want to have? A soulless life with emptiness. That's basically what you're setting yourself up for, bro. A soulless life and emptiness, man. So that's reason one, addictions. And that's why people seem to be struggling in life. It's because mainly addictions, zero self-control, no real life appreciation, and you're setting yourself up to be soulless. So those are things you have to worry about. What to do about it, the main solution is you have to recognize your addictions. You have to recognize your addictions and become proactive before you reach a point of no return. And I've met people who've reached points of no return, and it's sad. And me being in sales now, I talk to people every single day who are in those kind of situations, a situation of no return at all. And it doesn't look good, bro. It doesn't look good. And I mean, at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you're aware that you're addicted to something. I don't care if you're addicted to something, but if you're unaware that you're addicted to something, that's a clear sign that you're, coming to the point of no return. So the second reason why it seems the world is struggling is because of standards. The standards of life, the standards of the new modern world, right? And I'll dive into a little bit more of what I really mean about the standards going to these next points. The first thing is obviously negative comparison. Comparison in itself is obviously a very good thing to have. If there was no such thing as comparison, you wouldn't have certain trees taller than the other. You wouldn't have king lions and female lions. You wouldn't have yourself. Somebody compared yourself to somebody, your mom or your dad compared themselves to somebody and opted out to date a specific partner because they felt like that was the best suit for them. Therefore, you exist right now. You decided the way you're dressing right now, you obviously compared yourself to someone. You're probably adopting a style that you got from somebody else on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, school, real life, whatever. And now you've upped your style and you've become a better individual, so to speak, a better individual in your eyes. So, but that's a good type of comparison because you're pushing yourself to another level. But negative comparison is obviously, you've seen those reels where you're wanting the 40-year-old life at 20 years old. In a negative way, it's basically chasing something that's unrealistic. It's chasing something that's unrealistic. And this ties back to just having no real life appreciation because you lack the basic appreciation of life circumstances. Whatever circumstances you're in life right now, if you're comparing yourself to somebody who's literally 40 steps ahead of you, 20 steps ahead of you, if you count every year as a step, 20 steps ahead of you. I can't do math. If they're 20 steps ahead of you, it makes no logical sense, bro. If you're a smart person and you think about self-development, it makes no sense to compare yourself to somebody like this. In a sense, yeah, okay, look, that's where I want to be, but you can't try to compact 20 steps into 1 year. Obviously, anomalies and stuff have accomplished that. Like, I work for some of those huge e-commerce brands who are doing millions a month, 600K a month, 700K a month, million a week even, right? So, look, like, it's possible, 100%, but you have to understand that they didn't get there comparing themselves to that. They got there by being in a crazy amount of pain, a crazy amount of suffering. Their life circumstances was far from basic, and that's what propelled them to actually be able to put those 20 steps into 1 year, into 2 years, into 3 years. And that it might not be the case for you. You have to start appreciating the basics of your life circumstances, whether that's a roof over your head, working light, drinkable water, a fucking bed to sleep on, no baby mama, nothing to fucking worry about, couple bills here and there. That is peak life. Peak fucking life, or wherever you're at right now is peak life. If you're able to watch this video, you're in peak life, bro. Peak life, and you have to start appreciating the basics of your own certain life circumstances, and that's what's going to keep your standards at an optimal level, and you're going to stop feeling like you're struggling in life. The next thing is throwing away good things, bro. Throwing away good things. And I mean, obviously, dating apps come into play, Instagram, and high standards in terms of like physical looks and stuff. And I understand it, of course, physical looks are an indicator of a lot of things. And that's why people choose attractive individuals. If you're not attractive, you can easily fix that by, either getting in shape, looks maxing, whatever it may be. But what I mean by throwing away good things is that people will throw away good individuals. They'll throw away good looking people and all this thing is thinking that they can always get better because their standard is so inflated and it's so high for no fucking reason, right? For no reason at all. And obviously it's obviously because of social media. It's obviously because of what's pushed inside of our heads. And that's something that we as a society, especially, the younger generations, going into our 20s now, close to our mid-20s. Well, I'm far from mid-20s, but going into mid-20s, I guess, so to speak, we are the foundation of the next generation, and we have to make sure our standards are at an optimal level. If our standards aren't at an optimal level, we're going to start seeing reproduction decline. And obviously, this is a very minimal problem right now. It's very minute. But if you think about it on a grander scale, if we keep rising the standards, then repopulation is going to decline. Therefore, humans are just going to stop reproducing and more people are going to die alone. And it's honestly going to become a huge, big world problem. And yeah, maybe that's not the number one thing on my mind. I don't really necessarily give a fuck. But it all starts now. It all starts with you. So you got to stop throwing away good things, bro. And you don't want to end up having a life alone. And the next thing is a life of struggle as you try to reach a life that is unrealistic. And me, I felt to this as well. My first kind of month in appointment setting, my first month in, the online space, the high ticket space, I was broke as fuck. I made no money. And I'd rather do that than go knock doors selling, certain things because I was kind of low-key chasing a life that was unrealistic, and I'd rather struggle to chase that life that's unrealistic, so to speak. But I made it my reality now because I kept chasing it, and I'm not going to give up, right? I'm on month like 4 or 5 of this, and profits are finally starting to come in a manner that I'm able to, kind of breathe above water, right? So that's one thing you really got to understand is like if you're in a situation where you're really struggling for a long period of time chasing a life that's unrealistic, maybe you gotta lower your standards a little bit, bro. Like for what you're able to accept in terms of how much money you're supposed to make or the growth that you're seeing right now, because you don't want to be the person throwing away a good job to try to make money on a business. You don't want to be the person throwing away a 9 out of 10 because you're trying to get a 10 out of 10. You know what I mean? So that's something you got to keep in mind. So the solution to all of this and keeping your standards at an optimal level is do not, and I repeat, do not allow yourself to get manipulated through the phone. And that's really that. And here comes my next point and my last and final point on why it seems the world is struggling is because you as an individual are a free will donor. You need to stop donating your free will. And here's what I mean. You're allowing others to choose your worldviews. And this ties completely into social media, allowing others to choose your worldviews. The biggest thing I see here is people are on, like I said, I'm in sales now. I talk to hundreds of people a day. And, obviously it's an e-commerce offer and people come wanting to start a business online with like drop shipping, TikTok shop, all that kind of stuff. So they come here and I just hear all these headlines being repeated of all these other creators. And I'm like, you don't have any of your own worldviews or any reasons why you want to become successful as an individual. What's your income goal? What's your income goal? The first thing, 10K a month, 10K a month, 10K a month, 10K a month, 10K a month. Why? Some people say, I don't know, I never thought about that. And I mean, like, and I go on a deep emotional level with them. I'm like, listen to me, Jeffrey, like, why haven't you thought about that? Wouldn't you say that getting to a 10K month, being able to retire your parents, retire yourself, and have the time that you want to have as an individual is something that's big? Don't you feel like having a goal and all that kind of stuff, having a dream without a goal in mind is a delusion? And you have to kind of get them to realize that shit. Like, you're right. I didn't even think about that. I'm just thinking about figures that people spewed out on me on social media. So you have to understand, you have to develop your own worldviews, because if you don't, you're going to have a foundationless path. A foundationless path is, filling out a form, coming onto an application and just, hey guys, like, what is this? What do you guys do about like this is this? And you're just adopting a worldview of somebody else. And that could be in anything. That could be in politics. That can be in business. That can be in school. That can be in self-improvement. That can be in psychology. That can be in relationships. You have to develop your own worldview and your own philosophy around everything that you do, everything that you preach, everything that you know, because you don't want to be walking a life on a foundationless path. If you're walking a life on a foundationless path, you're gonna just have a foundationless life, and a foundationless life ties back to one of these, a miserable one. So understand that for yourself, man. You cannot keep donating your free will. right? Because ultimately, if you do that on a period of time and you follow other people's worldviews and you don't learn how to develop your own, because everybody is just spewing out headlines they see on social media, and even that right there is a headline I've seen on social media. So myself, I fall victim to it as well. You'll ultimately stand for nothing, and that's the last thing that you want as an individual. Is that correct? My next point is control of time and attention. I'll stay right here, man. You could do anything with your time, but you choose waste. You could do anything with your time, but you choose waste. I've been through days where I've wasted my time, and I've cried at the end of those days. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. It's because you're dead as an individual. You're gone. You're a goner. And that's, bro, like, you can't waste time. Time is just the one thing you don't get back, and I just don't get how that doesn't irk people's soul. You realize, fuck, 2024 is gone forever, for good. And maybe I'm still a little bit of a kid, and I really am shocked with the fallacy of time itself, but it shocks me to this day. To this fucking day. To this day! Come on now, to this day. So, control of your time and attention. Your attention is fuel. Your attention is fuel for anything, right? Where your attention goes, that place grows, right? So you got to understand that if your attention goes to social media, your attention goes to my YouTube channel, to anybody's YouTube channel, their channel grows. Their bank account grows. Facebook's algorithms grow. Yours deplete. Everything on your side is depletion. So you scrolling, it's a net zero. It's net zero loss, bro. Like, there's no gain on social media when you're constantly scrolling. If you're producing something of value, then it makes sense. But if your attention is going anywhere else where that thing is growing, so if your attention is going to the meta reels, then the meta, scrolling and all that stuff, then that's what's going to grow. Their algorithms are going to grow. Their bank accounts are going to grow, not yours. So where's your attention going? Your attention needs to go to your skill sets, to your bank account, to your debt, to your money loss, to your attention, to your flaws, to your addictions, to your standards, to your zero self-control, to everything that I've mentioned in this video. That's where your attention needs to go. And that concludes today's video, guys. So stop donating your free will. That's the only way to fix all this, is to stop donating your free will. That's the conclusion there. But that's all I have for today's video, boys and girls. Look, I love you guys. Start off tomorrow strong. Peace.